Hello and welcome to the Philippines. I have acquired a Rusi 250 Classic, used one. Anyway, today I went out for my first ride for a few hours and got a parking space in my condominium, costing me 3,000 pesos, about $60 a month. I've looked around for cheaper places. I can find a couple cheaper places, but they are lacking security or some other things. So anyway, we'll just go with this. I've got some pretty good security watching over this down here. And the parking spot is right inside of our garage. Pretty tight. Not a lot of space there, so I was lucky to be able to get a spot. I'm going to take you around a little bit of the Cebu metropolitan area and point out some sites, tell you a little bit about how I acquired this motorbike and the insurance that I bought for it. I will even embarrass myself and show you where I stalled in traffic in the middle of an intersection, in the middle of traffic. One of those things, getting used to a new bike. I purchased this from John and Cindy, John Rowe of Phil's to Phoenix YouTube channel. They just went back to Phoenix and met him one day, and he said, "I'm going to make you a deal you can't refuse." And anyway, after some chatting about it, and I said, "Yeah, you're right. That's a deal I can't refuse." I was originally thinking of buying a scooter once all the restrictions were dropped, so I could travel a little bit. But anyway, we're starting out here in South Road Properties. This is kind of a shopping area to the right, Il Corso. They've got a MyBus terminal out in that area. I think it's right about here as well, so you can catch a MyBus out there. On the left side of the highway is Phil Invest's condominiums. They've got a couple condominiums, and I've done, for those of you who don't know, I've done over 1,000 videos. A lot of those videos are real estate related, showing condos. How much do they cost to buy? How much do they cost to rent? How are they furnished? All that sort of thing. So you can check out that condo and home playlist. Cost of living videos. Off here in this parking lot to the right, there's kind of like that, especially in the evening, they've got a bit of a food court going on. And they've got, this is the big casino. The casino hotels, I think there's 2 hotels, a resort, casino going in there. I haven't seen an actual opening date for that. I would guess sometime next year. I'm not sure about that, but NuStar, I believe, is the name of it. But it's going to be part of the big transformation of what's called the South Road Properties, big reclamation area down here. It will employ thousands once it's up and running, and hopefully they can attract the tourists. So the Philippines will open up and have the millions of tourists once more. Philippines has a lot of potential to increase their tourism and their income, the revenue from tourism. For instance, Thailand gets 40 million during normal times, 40 million tourists a year. Philippines, similar size, gets about 9 million a year in the last year and growing. But I hope they don't blow it. I hope they do it right. And anyway, that building, that big tower up front, that is Seaside Mall. Huge, relatively new mall. That big tower there, there was supposed to be some restaurants up on that top tower area. It was damaged pretty good in Super Typhoon Odette, international name Rai, in December 16th last year. And anyway, I'm not sure what they're going to do with that tower. I suspect that sooner or later they will repair it, because it doesn't look very good as it is. There are a number of other developments going on out here. Just before we got to Seaside, there is a bit of a sea park and a large aquarium with various types of fishes and stuff. Interesting. I've done a video in there. And this is interesting. This is the light vehicle lane, and the left lane is the heavy vehicle lane. Those markings on the road said. Now, some countries, I don't know about your country, but like the U.S., it's generally the heavy slow vehicles are supposed to stay to the right. Usually, there are a few cities that make, trucks stay in the center lane, something like that, because the ramp exit and entrance is the right lane. Usually the fast lane is the left lane. Anyway, this is the start of the third bridge, the CCLEX Cordova Cebu Expressway. It's the new third bridge going over to Mactan Island, and it hopefully will open here in the coming months, I think. It's a toll road. Not sure what the tolls are going to be, but they have to be reasonable or many people won't use them. We've got a fellow who works on the bridge. He comments as dumb mutts, and he is a foreigner working on the bridge, and he occasionally sends me a little information about that, so maybe in the comments he will add the latest developments, so you can read through the comments, maybe get an update on that. There was talk of having allowing bicycles and even pedestrians to walk across that bridge. I don't know if that's really going to happen. I certainly hope it does, because I like to walk, and I would love to walk across that bridge. I think it's going to be about 8.5 kilometers, I believe, when it's finished. And then they're increasing the road network over on Mactan Island so that it doesn't get all congested over there as well. And this is part of the work site, I guess, over here. And then along here they've got, it could be a boardwalk. I've been down here a couple times. I don't want to say too much about it, but it's not tourist friendly. I would say it's a bit of a toilet area, and I think in time there will be an attempt to make it a little bit more tourist friendly. I would not suggest that it is anywhere near that at the present time. Straight ahead of us there, you can see that kind of a tan yellowish ship up there. That is Pier 1 area up there, big passenger terminal, and we're basically coming into the downtown area. Just to the left of us is the huge public market called Carbone Public Market, and I've done a number of videos in there. Very, very seldom, I get down there maybe once a month, do a little shopping, and a little lower cost, and a lot of the produce is fresher than what you'll find in a lot of the supermarkets. Anyway, this area goes into, I think these buses are here to take the workers that are working on that third bridge back to wherever they're putting them up in various hotels, condominiums, I suppose. Anyway, right to the left we have Plaza Independencia, a big park down here. They have a lot of events going on different times of the year. And they've got Fort San Pedro, and you might be able to see the wall just to the left here, Fort San Pedro. And I've done a video in there as well. Anyway, they've got some kind of event going on. Usually you can drive through on that street, but they've got it blocked off. They got the gate closed. So we'll have to go back to the main road over here. I will tell you that I don't have a lot of experience driving motorbikes in my lifetime. I'll tell you that I've rented 3, one for a week over on Bohol Island. Here, that one was an automatic. This Rusi is a stick shift, not stick shift, it's a manual. That building right ahead of us, interesting building. More of an industrial size equipment hardware store, but up on the very top of that building. I've tried to get permission to go in there and I haven't been allowed. they've got a huge caged area. I mean huge, the whole size of that building, I think. And they've got parrots and a number of different birds. I don't know if they're eagles or hawks, but quite a few birds up there. And sometimes of the day when you're walking by here, you can hear those things squawking and talking and flying around. I would love to be able to go up there. Anyway, this whole area to my right is Plaza Independencia. They've got places to jog, and people jog around the sidewalks in there. There's lots of seating area. And to the left is the downtown area. And if I would have turned at that light, that would have taken me up to the uptown area, where I spend a lot of my time. Straight ahead up here is Pier 1. Many of the passenger ferries go out of Pier 1. There's some, I think, at Pier 2 and Pier 3, just going down to the left here. Anyway, no traffic signals or lights. A lot of places here, and Filipinos know how to deal with that. Generally, you don't see very much in the way of road rage. One side goes and people start sticking their nose out from the other side, and one side stops and allows those people to go for a while. And I I tried to avoid a couple of those intersections while I'm driving here, learning to drive, getting used to the bike. But I did get caught in a couple of those. I'll even admit, I killed the engine in, I think, 3 of those intersections. You'll see one coming up. And getting used to the clutch and how much throttle you need to give it. Give it enough, but you don't want to give it too much when you're starting off. And I was still getting used to that. The most common size bike here in the Philippines is 110, 115, 125, and occasionally 150 cc engine. Smaller bike, motorbike, scooter, those types of things. So 250 is a little bit bigger and a little heavier. And these guys on the smaller bikes, they weave in and out of the traffic. I would seldom do that with a smaller bike myself, just because I don't want to do that kind of thing. I'm a defensive driver generally. And one of the deals here is a lot of these, there are rules of the road. There are laws, and you can get citations for various types of things. But in reality, nobody follows any rules. There's no lane lines are just a suggestion. Using signals is just a suggestion. Those towers ahead of us, we're coming up on a big mall, Robinson's Galleria Mall. I think it's the newest mall in town, and those taller buildings are hooked onto that mall. They are Robinson's Galleria condominium residences, I guess they call it. And I've done 1 or 2 videos in there, so you can check those out if you're interested. I don't think those towers are occupied yet. I think Tower 1, the first tower they built, I think that is sold out. They've got some units in the next one, and quite a few units for sale still in the third one, I think. Not absolutely positive. To the right, you see trucks and trucks and trucks and trucks lined up there, and that is because they're all going into the various ports, loading onto ferries. Everything goes by ferry and truck here. And straight ahead of us is, I've jumped ahead quite a ways, is Mandani Bay. Huge development. I've done a video there. And two condominium towers that are being occupied presently. I don't know if they're relatively new and being occupied. Don't know if you'll find any rentals there. It's going to be, in the end, there's going to be a couple hotels, I think, a lot of commercial buildings, more residential buildings, and going to be a big boardwalk down there area, so it's really going to be transform this whole area. We're real close to Parkmall. We're in Mandaue City. in Parkmall. And the Bai Hotel just to the right here, that is the largest hotel room-wise. I think over 600 rooms in there, outside of Metro Manila. I had about a half a tank of fuel when I first headed out today, and I told the fuel attendant to fill it up, and I said, just put in about 500 pesos. Building there, tall building there, that is NuStar condominium. These are more like dormitory type places right here to the right for a lot of the workers that work in the hospitals or go to the schools and colleges around here. One of these buildings is, I think this is at Cebu Doctors Hospital University, I believe. Two things I'll note. Number one, the helmet. I've got a pretty good helmet that John left me as well. But boy, you know, I like to be able to see a lot all the time, and with that, what seems to me a relatively small open space to look out of, that bothered me because you got to turn your head quite a bit to look sideways and comfortably to view the things I want to view. Secondly, the mirrors on every motorbike I've ridden in the Philippines are relatively small, and they're kind of angular, and not only that, you hit these bumps and they tend to move around a little bit, and they might be where you want them 1 minute, you hit a bump and then they're not where you want. And here you have quite a number of people, and I think that is UC Medical Center there to the left, and on the other side of that is Chung-Wa Hospital. So I would really like to get a little bit larger mirror on that, so I'll look into that. But the other thing too is just continually watching my mirrors, watching ahead, being a defensive driver. Well, like I said, we share the road here, and if you've got 2 lanes, they make it into 3 or 4 lanes because everybody shares the road. Cars will allow motorbikes and other cars to share their lane. Very common here, and it could drive you nuts. There again is Bai Hotel up there. I'm gonna take a left. I've got Parkmall, which is an older, smaller mall, but it's got most things that you'd want. It's got a grocery store, a hardware store, all the gadget stores, clothing, that type of thing. And there are lots of places to eat in there, fast food and otherwise as well. Here's where I'm going to get. There's the lights are down because of the typhoon still, and here's where I killed the motor trying to go in here. Now I'm using this guy to block. He's going to stick out his nose out there and block traffic. And right there, I didn't give it enough throttle, and you know, that didn't take too long to get it started again and go, but it felt like forever. It felt like forever because I wasn't panicking, but I was in a nervous mode, put it that way. And I reacted fairly quickly. It seemed like I was out there for a very, very long time. And fortunately, people were looking out for me. I did have a guy come in an automobile, come pretty close to me on my left. And as I started going, I was able to go relatively straight. One of the most difficult things here for me is getting started, whether it be a little automatic scooter or a bigger bike, maybe even for a bicycle if you haven't ridden a bicycle for a long time. When you start out from a stop, and you know, especially here where, you know, if you're at a stop sign or light, stopped in traffic, which I was many times later as we got into rush hour traffic, and starting out from that start, and then the traffic is, especially in rush hour traffic, it's start and stop, start and stop, start and stop, and trying not to swerve right or left as you take off was a trick, or trying to drive, keep going. Very slow pace and balance was quite a challenge. I did a number of times I did quite well, I thought, but there are other times I was glad there wasn't somebody right next to me. I probably won't ride this a lot in the city. La Plage, this place to the right, La Plage was a relatively new nightclub. They were doing very well when I don't know, in the last year or so, when looked like Cebu City, Mandaue City were going to open up to businesses, and you know, the city's shut businesses down again, opened them back up for a little bit, shut them down again, and they finally went out of business. Doesn't look like they're planning on opening back up. One of tens of thousands of businesses that probably went out of business permanently. Anyway, the business, big place off to the right here is S&R. It's like a Costco that you have in many countries. Here's another light that is not operating yet. And we're back there again. UC Medical Center Hospital there. And to the right, big Toyota dealership. Toyota happens to be the most popular auto brand here, but you've got many others. You've got Nissan, Mitsubishi, Kia. I can't name them all. I've seen some Fords out there, Hyundai, and here along here, kind of like a little business park here. Got Burger King and a pizza place, a couple other restaurants in there, I think. Burger King, it's interesting. I found a couple other burger shops that make pretty good burgers. The one is called the Burger Joint here in town. And Burger King was real strict during these last 2 years. Still are. They've got big device. Sit down at a table, you and your friend across the table, and they've got a plastic barrier there. So what you see is you see people sitting off to the side of the table so they can talk properly. So it's not accomplishing much in the end. There again, Mandani Bay development up ahead. And I had planned on going back to South Road Properties where I started, and then head back into town and up through the downtown, uptown area. But got to be the rush hour traffic would just stop and go and stop and go, and just got crazy, and it was a bit exhausting, and it was hot. It was hot, so there again you've got a couple of, I think it's called Boardwalk, this first building, and then the tall white buildings, NuStar condominium. They cater mostly to medical students that go to the medical schools here. Made a mistake there, got the tires all muddy. And anyway, this is kind of I would call it a little bit of a rough area down here. A lot of homeless. Straight ahead, living on the sidewalk here. Anyway, straight ahead is the Parkmall. It's not tall, 2-story high, I think, but a lot of things going on in there. And they've also got a pretty good bus terminal there now. So a lot of buses, a lot of jeepneys come in and out of there. Well, these kids recognize a foreigner even with my long shirt on and my helmet. Give money, hey, give money. Even when I got way down here, they were still hollering at me. Hey, give money. There's a big new development just to the left side across the highway from Bai Hotel we're coming up on. A big casino resort hotel going in there in the coming year or so. And I'm not sure, they need to demolish the old, it used to be a convention center. It was damaged in 2013 by an earthquake that happened between Bohol and Cebu City. And that same year, 2013, a big typhoon, Yolanda, I think the international name was Haiyan maybe, came through here, did additional damage, and this last super typhoon did some major damage to it as well. So they need to take that down and start with the new construction. Anyway, I'm going to end that up here a bit. Stay safe, stay healthy. If you're going to rent a bike over here, be careful. Understand people are going to be coming up along each side of you. See you next time.